Hi, it's Todd from My View from the Woods, Home Microgreens and Garden Permaculture. It's Sunday, March 29th. I want to take you for a little walk down to the garden plot and show you the work I've been doing, and I'll also show you my garden sets. I've done quite a bit of work since the last video. I want to show it to you. I didn't film any of it. I'm more of the one just go in there, get it done, and then I'll show you at the end. But I've actually done 4 beds. I still have a little compost left. So let's take a look at it. So I finished the upper fence bed, which is going to be peas and wildflowers. It's about a 2 by 24 foot space. Then we have our longer 18 by 24 bed, all formed up. The wood will come off eventually. That's going to be for tomatoes and radishes to start. Then I have another 4 by 24 foot bed that is all set, looking good. And then I actually had quite a bit of compost left over, so I free-formed one. I just laid out some sticks and mounted up the mulch or the compost about 5.5, 6 inches high and made another 4 by 24 foot bed. I'm a little worried that the compost isn't going to be mature enough, that it's still going to be working and might take some nitrogen from my plants, but time will tell. Worst case is I'll just have to add some blood meal to it. I'm going to dig into it and show you that there's quite a bit of mycorrhizal fungi that are still forming in it. Let's take a look at that. So even where I put the bed in place, you can see that the white mycorrhizal fungi have formed even with all the rain. So these beds are still working out. No matter where I dig into the bed, you can see that there's nice white coatings of mycorrhizal fungi. And even in the pile that's left over, there's still a little bit of heat into it. I'll dig into that and show you that. You can see all the white fungi that's formed in layers in this bed that's still piled up. Some of it is cool and to the touch. This area is just a little bit warm. It's not really hot. So we'll have to see how well that goes. I didn't really even take the time to put the lower path in. I'm just putting cardboard down as it comes in. But hopefully that'll keep the weeds down close to the beds, and we'll just work on that as I get cardboard. Another thing I want to show you is if I extend the garden beds further to the west, that there's going to be a problem. If you remember right up here, there is a water retention basin. And it's actually daylighting, the water's actually daylighting down here. You can see in the lower areas that the water's coming out. Where my garden beds are is just to the east side of the retention basin. And there's no water really running through, but anywhere further west, there's quite a bit of water. And you see even down below, it's puddling. We've had a couple days of rain, but still it was daylighting when it was drier. So definitely have to do a little bit of raise. Probably even the height of these beds here will be enough. But you can tell there's just not going to be a whole lot of oxygen down in that soil. One of these days I'm going to come down here and dig into the native soil and do a soil test to see what the native soil is and see if the compost has actually improved it. One more thing I want to show you before I leave is I found a cool rock outcropping. Let me go to that right now and I'll show you what I found. So in case you don't know it, my profession is actually a geologist. I'm in reality a stratigrapher or a biostratigrapher, and they study the layers of rock and their relative age as well as their absolute age of the rock outcroppings. So I'm always looking at the local geology. Camillus, where I am right now, is actually one of the first places in the U.S. that actually manufactured plaster from a local gypsum outcrop. I've looked for the quarries. I had to be a pretty big quarry, probably near railroad tracks. I hadn't found it until the other day I came across this gypsum outcrop. You can see the layers of gypsum in amongst the shale. There's even more over here. So a lot of it's dark, but a lot of it is pure white gypsum. So there's quite a bit. You can see the layers of rock with the gypsum and the shale and more layers of gypsum. So this was mined in the late 1700s and early 1800s and turned into plaster here in Camillus, one of the first manufacturing jobs, actually, processes, besides salt in Syracuse. All right, so much for the little garden show and the geology lesson. Now let's take a look at these sets. Now that we're back inside, let's take a look at the sets. Here are the first batch of sets. We've got New York onions, bok choy, pea sets, dinosaur kale. We've got our red leaf, our green leaf. We've got golden beets, red beets, rainbow chard, ruby chard, and these are beets for beet greens. Then in the back we've got some broccoli rabe, some green onion sets, and some spinach. So the sets you see are doing pretty good. They're getting ready to go out. Just gotta wait for the temperatures to moderate a little bit. I can't wait to get these sets in the ground, and we'll show you those processes once we get to that point. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little trip through the garden. You see the sets are doing pretty well. I can't really wait to get them into the ground. I have them scheduled for April 17th. Maybe I can get them in a week earlier. We'll have to see. You can see they're growing really well. I'd like to get them in at a little bit younger stage, but we do have to wait for some weather. It's still been down in the 20s at night, so you know, even with the protection, just want to be careful. So they're doing all right in here. I'll just keep them watered and let them grow, and we'll get them in the ground as soon as it's frost free. Have a great day.